Hey guys, welcome to ClarissaVLOGS. Welcome back. Welcome for the first time. Whatever the situation is, I'm glad you're here. So today we're going to be using my Tarteist, Tarteist Pro Palette again. I used this in my last video and I loved it. So today we're going to be using, last time we focused up here on the brown colors. This time we're going to focus here on the purple colors, and Lord help me because I did not write down the colors as I was putting them on my eyes. In doing this look as well, I did my very first cut crease, and I have to say I'm actually quite happy in the way that it turned out. Given that it was my first time, it's always risky to film yourself doing something for the first time on camera. I'm happy how it turned out. It may not be as cut crease as other people do. It's not as cut, but you know, it's kind of there. Anyhow, let's jump right into it. If you want to see how I achieved this look, then please keep watching.
I'm starting off by using my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the colour Classic Ivory, and I'm just cleaning up the brows I did and then patting that all over my eyelid as a primer. For those wondering, I use my Anastasia Dip Brow as well as my Brow Wiz pencil, both in the colour dark brown, to do my brows. Once my eyelids are completely covered, I'm using my Maybelline Shine Free Loose Powder in the colour Light just to go over them. You could also use a light, like a white or cream coloured eyeshadow, as well as a translucent powder to do this step. I'm going to be using the colour Profesh as my transition colour, and I'm using my MAC 217 brush to get this all over my crease. Make sure you continuously blend, and you can keep adding until you reach the desired colour effect. I'm then taking the colour Fierce along with my Zoeva 231 brush, which is a bit more precise, and I'm going in and darkening up my crease. I'm also working a little bit on my outer V. I used my Zoeva 227 brush just clean to go over all those lines into the transition colour to make sure everything was absolutely blended. I noticed that my eyes were looking quite grey, so I did pick up a little bit of the colour Mod, which is that pinky shade, and just blended it into my crease. To cut my crease, I'm going back to my LA Girl Pro Concealer we used earlier, and I'm using my Fräulein brush. I'm carefully going on my lid to cut that crease. Make sure you start small and then build up, because the last thing you want to do is go too high, and that's really hard to fix. Once I'm happy with how much the crease has been cut, I'm going in with my MAC 239 brush and I'm setting that with the colour Vintage. It's important to use that light colour so that the colours you put on top are really going to show and the pigment's going to shine through. Using the same brush, I'm just taking the colour Glam, which is beautiful and sparkly, and I'm going all over my lid with that colour, really getting it in there. Then I'm taking the dark colour Vamp and I'm concentrating on the outer V. And I'm just going back to my Zoeva 231 brush to do this. I'm now going to take some makeup remover on one of those, I don't even know what they're called, those face pads, is that the right word? And I'm just cleaning up the edge. Now this is also going to help with where you put your eyeliner. If you're like me, you will struggle with your eyeliner, and having this already pre-created edge helps. I'm using my Kat Von D tattoo liner in the colour Trooper. I wanted this look to be like crazy dramatic because the eyeshadow is so much, so I made a really long wing. But I just wanted it to be a really thin wing as well, not to take away too much from it, if that makes any sense at all. I'm going to be using my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara on my upper lashes only, and then my Majesty lashes in the style King. Now we will do the lower lashes later, but first we're going to do the underneath eyeshadow before we get to that. Going in with my Milani Prime Perfection primer, I'm just going to put that all over my face and make sure I wipe that down in a kind of downwards motion, because you don't want to get all the loose skin all over your face. Then I'm using my Fit Me foundation in colour 120 and my Milani foundation in the colour 3 Light Beige. And I'm using basically a paintbrush to put that all over my face. Now, if you were smarter than me, you would mix these two colours on the back of your hand, but I am lazy and I like to live my life on the edge, so I literally mix them on my face. Moving on to contouring, I'm taking my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer in the colour Light and my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the colour Beautiful Bronze. And I'm just putting that in kind of like the regular places, so my highlight under my eyes, on my nose, on my forehead, on my upper lip, and on my chin. I use my Zoeva 110 brush to really push that concealer into my skin. On the edges to blend, I do pull out a little bit, but for the majority, I really just dab that into my skin. In the dark contour, I'll be doing my nose, also my forehead and my cheeks. But starting with nose and cheeks, I just put that in and I blend it a little bit with my fingers. I might pick up a small rounded brush as well to do that. But you can start with your fingers if you like. Because this is a rather dramatic eye look, I wanted to make sure that the contour kind of matched. So I did do a little bit darker and a little bit more than I would usually do. Definitely more than I would do on a day-to-day basis. To set my contour and highlight, I'm going to be using my Bananarama powder, which is a banana powder from Sportsgirl, and my Benefit bronzer in the colour Hula, and I'll be using 3 different brushes. For general bronzering, I'll be using my 106 brush. For more precise contouring, I'll be using my 109 brush, and then to push in the banana powder, I'll be using my 102 brush, all from Zoeva. Oh my god, that was a mouthful. To set my nose contour, I like to use just the edge of the brush to make sure I get a really precise line, whereas I use like the whole flat side for the cheek contour. When you're setting the highlighting areas, make sure you really push that powder into your skin, not rub it. To stop my chin getting oily and disappearing halfway through the day, I will use my NYX finishing powder, and what I do is I put that on my chin before I actually set that highlighted area with my banana powder. Just going in and bronzering my face up, so on my cheeks, on my where I've contoured, you know, on my forehead, and please don't forget the neck, it helps blend. You should have foundation as well as bronzer on your neck. I like to put bronzer underneath my lip as well because it helps curl your lip over and give it an illusion of being larger than it is. I'm also just sculpting out my jawline. Now that my face is done, I'm going to be doing the bottom of my eyes. So I'm using my Fräulein pencil brush. I'm really sorry, but they don't have numbers on them. But I'm starting off with that same transition color Profession. I'm putting that all underneath my eye. Using my Zoeva 238 brush, I'm using the colours Fierce and Mod, and I'm putting that on the outer side, and then I did put a little glam on the inner corner. I'm then taking my mascara and doing my lower lashes. To finish off my face, I'll be using my Milani powdered blush in the colour 1 Romantic Rose along with my Cosmetica angled brush. And for highlight, I'll be using my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the colour Champagne Pop with my Zoeva 129 fan brush. The blush is going all over my cheeks, whilst the highlighter is going above that on my cheekbones as well as in the tear ducts of my eye. I just grabbed any brush to do that. I highlighted under my eyebrow as well, so on my brow bone. And then I also highlighted my, what's the on the upper lip called? Okay, I forgot, but you can see it in the clip now. And then I also drew an exclamation mark on my nose. On my lips, I'll be using my MAC lip pencil in the colour Have to Have It and my Clinique lip gloss in the colour Air Kiss. I do like to overdraw my lips a bit to give them a bit more of a big appearance, especially when I'm doing a really dramatic eye. If I'm doing a really casual day look, then I may not overline my lips as much. But because this is a really heavy eye look, I'm going to do that today. So I start with doing my outer lining, and then I'm going to go in and completely fill that in with the lip pencil. Don't forget, when you're overlining your lips, just start off with a little bit and you can always build it. The last thing you want to do is go too high because it's a lot harder to take it back off than it is to put more on. I'm then just going to go in with the lip gloss and just put a tiny bit on top just to give it that real sparkle and shimmer. And that's basically it for the lips. And so to finish everything off, I'm going to be using my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray and just spraying that all over my face to make sure it doesn't move. I tried to make an effort not to pull a face and look actually kind of nice when I did the spray, because I don't know, everyone else seems to be able to do it, but I forgot and I left my mouth a bit open and the spray doesn't taste good. So don't do that.
Here we have the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and as always had some fun watching, maybe learned something new. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever done a cut crease and how long it took you to perfect it, because I am very interested to know. It might be a long road ahead of me. Apologies again for doing my makeup in like basically a completely random way. Like I always forget bits along the way and then I'm like, oh no wait, I was meant to do that, I was meant to do that. But the good thing about makeup is it doesn't really matter. There's no rules as to how you do it. There's probably more logical ways. Mine isn't that. But in general, you can just do whatever you want and you can make it look fine. So, good news. So I hope you guys enjoyed this look, and until next time, bye.